In the equity quadrant today, taking a look at the June Dow Jones Industrial Futures, which was the weakest of the big three indices today. Not the weakest overall. The Russell was actually slightly weaker, being down over 60 basis points. But the Dow was not far behind, down 36 basis points in toward the close, about 34,457 or so on the close. The low today, 34,425, was down just under 0.5%, 46 basis points. Again, the weakest of those big three. A lot of the times, the other two indices will pull the Dow up. Didn't happen today. As a matter of fact, the reverse happened. The Dow was only up 17 basis points earlier this morning. That's the only time above the flat line that the Dow spent. 34,647 was the high, and then it was basically weak in the red below the zero line all day long. Now we've got 3 consecutive down sessions now in the Dow, and that hasn't happened since mid-May. And if the week were to end today, it would be the first down week since May 17th, which was, by the way, when those 3 consecutive down days happened, 17th, 18th, and 19th. And it would also be the worst week since May 10th in terms of the change on the week. Yields collapsed today. We had the 10-year breakdown to 147. All the way down on the 30-year to 216. The yield curve flattened dramatically. We came up quite a bit off of those levels in toward the end of the day and into the aftermarket even, as we saw some changes in the yield dynamics. But for the day, yields actually fell, and that didn't really help stocks today, which showed you quite a bit of weakness in the aftermarket as yields started to climb. So it was very interesting the way that that played out. Those low yields didn't even really help the NASDAQ that much, which has been the case as of late. So it seems to be more about a story of maybe economic weakness, maybe too much strength has been priced in. And looking at the sector breakdown, which is really the reason the Dow was the worst performer, financials and industrials were the worst performers of the 11 major sectors, hurting the Dow, both down over 1%. As a matter of fact, they were the only ones down over 1% of the major 11 sectors. Energy was pretty close behind, even though crude oil had a decent performance. Financials and industrials, big components in the Dow, dragged the Dow down, which made it the worst performing sector of the index of the big three indexes, which is, of course, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow.